It has been reported that after the family landed, when they got there, there was no police presence, and they were basically on their own with their own personal security. Is that true after so much was made about security in the UK?
Yes, we understand that's true. We understand that they flew over on a private jet from Los Angeles. There was no security entourage to meet them when they landed at the airport, which was in Birmingham. And then they were driven from Birmingham, we understand, to the Cotswolds, which is where they're going to be moving into well, by the looks of it, a pretty fabulous new home.
They are footing the bill for the security, correct?
At the moment, they're footing the bill for their security. I suspect a lot of people might be wondering why a prince who campaigns for sustainability, not least when it comes to air travel, chose to fly over on a private jet, which will have cost tens of thousands of pounds to come over from Los Angeles. I wonder if that was to avoid coming into a busy international airport like Heathrow, because let's not forget, he hasn't got his taxpayer-funded protection at the moment. That's not something that's been agreed and given to him. So at the moment, Kevin, he's footing the bill for his travel and for his security. They haven't yet been photographed. They haven't yet been seen. We understand they've been whisked off to their new home in the Cotswolds.
Okay, what can you tell me about their new home, if anything, that you may know?
I've seen pictures of their new home. We're not going to be identifying where it is for very obvious reasons. Harry and Meghan have made it clear that they want to be able to be private individuals. They are not returning as working members of the royal family. They want their children to be able to enroll at their new school and be able to enjoy a private life. What I can tell you is that it's in the Cotswolds. It's a very beautiful place. It's an 18th century farmhouse. It has a swimming pool, and most tellingly, it's incredibly private. So I'm told it's set in 83 acres of private farmland. So beautiful views, but not just that. No public footpaths, so no access onto their estate, which means they can have what is so important to them, their privacy.
How much security will they have at that house, do you think?
Well, it's a huge house. It's set, as I said, in 83 acres of land. They are going to need a significant security detail. Of course, not just while they're in residence at home, but when they're on the school run, when they're going to do the local shop. Their nearest supermarket, and I use that in inverted commas, is the very posh Dalesford organic farm shop, where a pot of jam is even more expensive than Meghan's fruit spread. So that's probably where they'll be doing their shopping. But of course, they're going to need security as they travel around the country. And at the moment, that's being funded by Harry. But I'm sure there is going to be a change to Harry's status when it comes to his security. I understand it's being reviewed by the British Home Office at the moment. And I think that now the plans are clearly for the family to be back here in Britain. I'm told for the long term, certainly for Harry and the children, his security is going to be reviewed.
For our American audience, can you equate where they're moving to somewhere in the U.S. so we could understand? Are they moving to Beverly Hills or Bel Air or, the Hamptons? Where are they moving?
Well, I suppose you might describe the Cotswolds as the Hamptons of Britain. It's a very exclusive enclave. It's an hour and a half up the M4 motorway, hugely popular with the A-list crowd. The Beckhams have a beautiful farmhouse down there. There is indeed Soho Farmhouse, which is one of Meghan's favourite destinations. I'm sure they'll be spending a lot of time there. You've got Jeremy Clarkson, the TV presenter, down there. Not Meghan's biggest fan. They famously came to loggerheads over a pretty inflammatory article or column that Jeremy Clarkson penned. But lots of famous names down there, lots of huge estates, and very much a sort of in crowd. So I'm sure they will be coming over quite excited about, well, certainly some of their neighbours and who they will be mingling with.
Is there anything you can tell us about the kids and where they'll be going to school?
Pretty much as with the house, Kevin, people are keeping very tight-lipped about the schools. We know that they have enrolled them in a private prep school. I can tell you it's not Ludgrove, which was one of the names being mooted, because of course that's where Prince William and Prince Harry went to prep school and they really enjoyed it. It's not there. It's in fact a co-ed school, which means Archie and Lily will be at school together. It looks like a beautiful setting. There's everything you could possibly imagine available for those pupils enrolled there, and they will, we understand, be starting next week.
What is Harry going to do while he's there?
Well, it's a great question. What is Harry going to do while he's over here? Of course, we know that Meghan is trying her best to breathe new life into her acting career. Harry's got some events coming up. He's got the Wellchild Awards coming up in September. Of course, he's very focused on next year's big Invictus Games, which will take place in Birmingham. Possibly that's why he flew into Birmingham today. Perhaps there was an Invictus engagement or a meeting that he was going to take before coming down to the Cotswolds. He'll certainly be spending time up in Birmingham. But there is that big question mark over what is he going to do, because my understanding from the Sussex's PR team is that they won't be carrying out royal engagements. And when you look at Harry's charities, he doesn't work with Centre Barley anymore. The charities have become fewer. Is he going to take on more charitable roles? I'm told that's on the horizon, but most importantly at the moment for him is being a hands-on and stay-at-home dad. So I think very much a modern dad. While Harry's going to be at home doing the school run, looking after the children, it'll be Meghan embarking on a transatlantic career and spending quite a bit of time, I understand, over in LA.
So she'll go back and forth a lot. She'll leave the kids?
I think the idea is that she will be travelling back and forth between the United Kingdom and Los Angeles. Of course, taking the children every time she needs to travel internationally would be very disruptive for their home life, for their school life. So if they've got one parent who's going to be at home all the time, that brings stability to their family unit. And that parent, we understand, will be Harry.
Will her mother be coming to England?
Well, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens to Doria, because, of course, that is the only family member who Meghan is still close to. Her and her mother have a very, very close relationship. Harry's very close to Doria. Certainly when they were first living over here in the UK, Doria was a regular visitor over here, but she never actually moved to the UK. And I don't believe that that is on the agenda. I think Doria loves her life in California, but has obviously been very privileged to have spent a lot of time with Archie and Lily. She's very close to her grandchildren. So I think in the same way that Meghan will be very international, I think Doria will too. And I'm sure it will be coincided that when Meghan has to go off on business, Doria will probably fly in to help Harry with the children at home.
How long do you believe this will last?
Well, I think we've all been so taken by surprise by the news that they're coming over here. But I think the fact that they are investing in this incredibly expensive home, rumoured to be £6 million, it seems to be their dream home. It ticks all their boxes. The fact that they are enrolling both of their children into a really good private prep school, all points to this being a longer term move. I think they're covering themselves by saying it could be 6 months, it could be 12 months. We don't yet know. I think the point is they want to make this move work, and they want to make this move long term. Everything I've heard is that the heart of it all, Harry is really missing his family. He wants to be closer to his family and to his friends. And he spent the past 6 years overseas. He misses England. He very much wants his children to have a British education. And it's the long term as far as he's concerned.
Do you think the king is happy and excited about this now that everything's been secured?
I do, actually, Kevin, I do. And I was speaking to a contact close to the king today who was saying that he is genuinely pleased that Harry is coming back, that it's going to mean he gets to see more of his son. He's going to get to see more of his grandchildren. And I think for any grandfather, regardless of his health, that is something to look forward to. And of course, it's the King's hope that the rest of the family will be as welcoming to Harry and Meghan as the King.
Ah, the reconciliation that the world wants. The world wants Harry and William back together.
I think a lot of people would like to see that. I'm still being told that is some way off, that William is still very angry, that he has been completely blindsided by the Sussex's very sudden decision to move back to Britain. This all coincides, let's not forget, with an important moment for William and Catherine. Catherine's in remission. She's got a really busy autumn coming up. I think there's a sense that she's making up for some of the lost time where she was out of action, and she's so excited to get back to work. Of course, Prince George about to start Eton, a really big moment for them as a family. And I think there is a genuine wariness and concern amongst the Waleses and their aides, and indeed the King and Queen and their aides, that the Sussexes and the drama that inevitably follows anything and everything they do could overshadow the good work of the royal family. And I think people are mindful of that.
Well, it feels like The Crown should be cranking up real soon. Hey.
Well, the makers of The Crown might be wanting to look to make yet another series, because this is a soap opera that really just has so many twists and turns.